There's just something about fantasy shows in general that make me go. Today we're going to rank the miraculous heroes and villains from weakest to strongest. And for the purpose of this video, we're only going to talk about the ones from the Chinese miracle box. Today, I'm not ranking based on which miraculous is stronger, but from all the scenes we get from the show, which miraculous holder can use their power most efficiently to one-up the other. Think the tuning exams from Naruto. Before diving into the list, let's talk about how I determine this ranking. I'm going to be judging raw power, versatility, combat skills, intelligence, and experience. Let's rank the miraculous superheroes from weakest to strongest.
Bark on the hunt!
Alex briefly used the dog Miraculous to become Canine Girl in Evolution. The dog Miraculous gives their holder the ability to retrieve whatever the ball has touched, making it perfect for rescue and stealing. But in a one-on-one fight, it's not really effective. Sure, you can summon weapons like Tenten from Naruto, but we all know how that goes. Alex on her own is a very athletic tomboy, but it doesn't really save her from the niche application of the dog Miraculous.
I mean, it's good in a team setting to provide essential items for your team.
And it's especially useful for Ladybug's plans. But in a one-on-one fight,
The trash! Bark on the hunt!
it's a similar sentiment here. But I said before, I give her the edge due to her experience in wielding the Miraculous. On her own, Sabrina isn't really that good of a fighter, but she's somewhat athletic from playing football with Mark. It's revealed in Marinette's diary that Sabrina is at the top of her class, second only to Adrian.
Sabrina is a complete mystery. She's the best student in class, behind Adrian, obviously.
But as we all know, being book smart won't always guarantee you the win in a battle. Plus, having a ball for a weapon isn't the most useful in a fight, but I give her a plus for her design in season 6. When Rose puts on the Pig Miraculous, she becomes the superhero Pigella, equipped with a tambourine capable of deflecting light-based attacks and small projectiles. Her special power gift shows her targets their deepest desires. It has been shown to work on multiple opponents at a time.
That's a superpower?
Now, there's been a lot of discourse about this power since its introduction, but I think the amount of people shaming the Pig Miraculous drastically reduced after Jubilation. Jubilation follows Darker Owl, a supervillain equipped with the Pig Miraculous powers, and effectively trapped Ladybug and Cat Noir in a euphoric dream that they couldn't break out. As powerful as Jubilation made the Pig Miraculous seem, I personally can't see Pigella doing something like that. I'm taking into consideration how the user applies their powers. And Rose is a nice, sweet, empathetic girl and more passive and reluctant to hurt people. So I feel people can take advantage of that. Keep in mind that everyone else on the list knows the power of the Pig Miraculous, so they will actively try to dodge it. So I don't see her winning a battle against anybody above her on her own. And out of all the holders, she seems like one of the least combative. I mean, the Miraculous does give them enhanced strength, but I just don't see Rose as one of the stronger fighters.
Bark on the hunt!
Though on his own, Felix has proven to be a decent combatant. Remember that time he went against several acclimatized villains at once? Some say it's plot, but I mean, in show, it should probably just be skill, and that is some crazy skill. As you might have caught on, Dog Miraculous holders are at the bottom of the list. I mean, it's a good miraculous power, but it's not for battle. But as Formidable, he didn't really show any battle feats, though giving Monarch access to all the miraculous is a crazy achievement. He could only do that because Ladybug was off guard.
Mulo gets squeaked!
When Milen uses the Mouse Miraculous, she becomes a mouse-themed superhero with the power of multiplication. Unlike other heroes with the ability to clone themselves, Polymouse shrinks while she clones, effectively making the clones way weaker. I mean, there's the possibility of overwhelming your opponents with sheer size of number, but it really pales in comparison to heavy hitters. And how useful is a jump rope really in a battle? It just lacks the versatility to make a great weapon. Polymouse as a hero isn't completely useless, she just needs to be paired with the right heroes to make her power more useful. But in all, I don't see her beating the people above her.
Mulo, get quick!
When Marinette puts on the Mouse Miraculous, she becomes the mouse-named superhero Multi-Mouse, armed with a jump rope and the ability to multiply, exactly the same as Polymouse. She wore the Miraculous just once in Kwame Buster, but I'll give her the edge because Marinette is just smarter than people give her credit for. It was shown that her intellect doesn't come from being Ladybug, it's something she inherently has. Marinette has experience, so I don't see her losing a fight between Polymouse.
Ziggy, bleed it!
When Nathaniel uses the Goat Miraculous, he becomes Capricid, armed with a long paintbrush and the power of Genesis, which allows him to create any object he desires, as long as he can imagine it. Going with how Nathaniel uses the Goat Miraculous on screen, creating art supplies, I feel he leans more into the artistic weapons. Think palette shields, pencil swords, paint bombs, stuff like that. And in general, he isn't the most experienced in combat. That's why I placed him here. They just gave him a Miraculous 2 seasons ago, and it's such a shame because I really liked his design. He reminds me so much of Sai from Naruto, and yes, I'm going to be making a lot of Naruto references here, but get used to it.
Holland, buzz on!
When Zoe wields the Bee Miraculous, she becomes a bee-themed hero. Viperion was the next bee holder after Queen Bee. She has shown to be very useful in battles, wielding a spinning top comparable to Ladybug's yo-yo in how versatile it is. It can be spun around to deflect attacks, can be used as a means of transport, and the superpower, Venom, which can be used to completely immobilize your enemy. There's been no way to break free from the paralysis in the show. The only real downside to her power is she can't use it from a distance, so she's not the best against long-range fighters. Viperion on her own hasn't shown any unique fighting style, and she lacks the experience to go high on the list.
Holland, buzz on!
Let's look at the facts. I'm assuming Queen Bee has her full adult powers, like all the heroes in Season 6, and she can basically spam Venom. Queen Bee has shown more versatility in her fighting style, combining flips, kicks, and skillful use of her spinning top, and her biggest feat being one-upping an adult user like Mayura. Well, an argument can be made for Mayura using the Damage Miraculous or underestimating Chloe. That's what makes her all the more endearing. People expect her to be this weak, arrogant daddy's girl. I mean, she is, but at least she's a skilled fighter, and she has shown on multiple occasions that she's capable of holding her own against enemies far stronger than she is. I'd also like to add, she's one of the few new heroes to struggle with her power and not instantly know how to use it. But I guess that's a story for another video.
Yoo-hoo, showtime!
When Kim uses the Monkey Miraculous, he becomes a superhero armed with an extendable staff. And yes, it is extendable. It was shown in Strike Back. He has the power of
Uproar!
which allows him to cause another person's power to malfunction. And Kim's unpredictable way of fighting and using his powers make him a very difficult opponent to beat. But I can't ignore the glaring weaknesses. Just dodge the toy and you're good. And as much as it messes up your powers, it doesn't mess up the inherent strength and agility that your Miraculous gives you.
Wait! It's too dangerous, Master. You're too old for this. Shalom.
As a wielder of the Turtle Miraculous, Jade Turtle has impressive defensive capabilities with his signature move, Shelter. His protective power can shield multiple allies, but his offensive capabilities are limited, seeing as Mayura and Hawkmoth were easily able to break through his Shelter just by attacking it repeatedly. In the earlier seasons, he was depicted to know a decent level of Kung Fu, living as long as he did. Jade Turtle ranks this high due to his wisdom and his experience with his powers, but he falls a little short due to his obvious back issues.
Blaze, chill on.
Similar to Jade Turtle, Nino uses the Turtle Miraculous to become the hero Carapace, and his special ability Shelter creates protective domes to withstand enemy attacks, protect his team, and trap opponents. Carapace is mostly defensive, but he has been seen to combine both defensive and offensive abilities in his fighting style. As the miraculous equivalent of Captain America, he has access to a shield that he can use to block attacks and throw at his enemies like a frisbee. It's the fact that shelter is not impenetrable. It can be destroyed by a vast amount of things, like a Sensi monster, like Cataclysm, and I'm sure even the Tiger Miraculous can break it with enough force.
Claws in!
We all remember in Kwame's choice, Zoe was given the Cat Miraculous. As an alternative wielder, Noir has access to Cataclysm, one of the strongest abilities in the series, the ability to destroy anything she touches. But she hasn't fully mastered her abilities like Cat Noir. She has some potential, but I doubt she's going to get the Miraculous again, and she just has little screen time to rank her any higher. Maybe if we get more of Kitty Noir, she can go up the list in the future.
Roar! Stripes on!
Julika's Purple Tigress possesses enhanced strength, speed, and agility thanks to her Miraculous, and she's armed with a bolus, a weapon she can use to entangle an opponent. Her special ability, Clout, allows her to deliver groundbreaking punches when she harnesses the energy in her Miraculous. Think Sakura from Naruto or Saitama from One Punch Man. Purple Tigress on her own seems like a really powerful hero, but she just lacks the versatility in her arsenal to go high on this list. And after the events of Strike Back, I'm questioning her durability.
Tricks? Let's pounce!
Serena Rouge wields the Fox Miraculous with the power of Mirage, creating incredibly convincing illusions. She's armed with a flute that she used to cast her illusions and to defend against attacks. Her strategic mind allows her to use her illusion to maximum effect. Her defining moment was in Senti Bubbler, where she managed to outsmart both Shadow Moth and the Senti Monster. While not physically the strongest, her intelligence, growing mastery of her power, and her experience being Rena Rouge makes her a very formidable opponent. After all, she was the very first sidekick in the show. Her illusions have been shown to affect at least 2 senses out of the 5 senses, sight and sound. She was able to lure a group of panthers with her illusions of a stick, so I'm just going to assume she can affect smell to a degree. She's also shown to jump way higher than Cat Noir and Ladybug.
Kalki, full gallop!
Max as Pegasus uses the Horse Miraculous to create portals with the super ability. This power offers incredible tactical advantage for transportation and surprise attacks. Pegasus' genius level IQ allows him to calculate precise portal placements, making him extremely valuable for team coordination. His weapon of choice is a boomerang, a horseshoe boomerang, and for my Avatar fans out there, you know we should never underestimate the power of a boomerang. This is the perfect Miraculous for surprise attacks, fighting your enemies from all angles. But if you take a closer look, the portals suck in people really slowly, and that can be a big disadvantage when working with fast enemies. But at the end of the day, if you factor in Pegasus can literally send anyone into the sun, he will be one of the highest on the list. But for the sake of morality, he stays here.
Storm, make way!
Wielding the Ox Miraculous, Minotaur's raw strength is very impressive. I actually headcanon him as physically strongest in the Miraculous group. His immense durability makes him nearly unstoppable when charging forward. And his weapon, a hammer.
Yeah, now we're talking!
In a show filled with superheroes that literally have toys for weapons, I'm looking at Yumi's Hound. It's such a breath of fresh air to see a combative weapon, something that can actually hurt a villain. And his power, resistance, makes him impervious to other people's abilities, so he can basically tank something as strong as Cataclysm. However, like many big and strong characters, he lacks the speed and the versatility of higher ranked heroes, and his straightforward fighting approach can be countered by more agile opponents.
Sass, scale slither!
When Adrian wears the Snake Miraculous, he becomes a snake-themed superhero armed with a lyre and has the power of second chance. Though his showings in Desperada were
kind of pathetic.
But I'm just going to bear with him because, he was impressing his crush. Relatively. But the Snake Miraculous is just too powerful for me to place him any lower. I have to place the next entry above him just because of his little showings.
Tiki, spot on!
When Adrian wields the Ladybug Miraculous, he becomes the hero Mr. Bug. He gains access to the Lucky Charm power. Combining with his natural combat skills from being Cat Noir, he becomes a decent hero. However, his approach to problem solving differs from Ladybug's. Though his Lucky Charm creates simpler items for him to use, his showing in Reflect Door was simply not the best. And we can't forget that he couldn't decipher how to use his Lucky Charm, and that's why he ranks below other heroes. And to be honest, I personally didn't like the way they portrayed Mr. Bug. But again, that's a story for another video.
Tiki, spot on!
On the other hand, as an alternative wielder of the Ladybug Miraculous, Scarabella did a decent job, at least better than Mr. Bug, and I personally liked her fresh perspective, and I enjoyed her time, and she managed to defeat an experienced hero like Cat Noir, though I blame that on his emotional state, but regardless, that's still a feat, so Scarabella stays here.
Long, bring the storm!
Kagami as Ryuko uses the Dragon Miraculous with the power to transform into water, wind, or lightning. This versatility makes her extremely adaptable to various situations. So she basically has 3 powers, and one of the few Miraculous holders to have an actual offensive weapon, a sword. You can never go wrong with a sword. Cut through your enemy's defenses, knock them out. Well, it's a kid show, so she can't actually use a sword in a gory way, so nonetheless, it's still a very useful weapon. And if there's anything I've learned from watching animes and TV shows in general, you should never underestimate someone with a lightning sword. Her extensive training in martial arts combined with her disciplined mind makes her one of the most skilled fighters among the Miraculous heroes. Even without the Miraculous, she could easily knock down Argos. So she's the equivalent of Storm from the X-Men in the Miraculous universe. Though she hasn't used her elemental powers to a large extent as Storm, but she has the potential if given more screen time.
Flag, close out!
Now what I would describe as the strongest out of all the SWAT Miraculous holders, Marinette proved how adaptable she can be with any Miraculous, building the Cat Miraculous as Lady Noir with exceptional skill. Her strategic mind combined with the power of Cataclysm creates a dangerous opponent. And of course, I'm assuming she has her full adult powers. Already experienced with the Miraculous powers as Ladybug, she quickly adapted to the destructive power of the Cat Miraculous. Though her approach is more calculated than Cat Noir's impulsive style, she isn't any higher due to low screen time.
Sash, scale, slither!
Luca as Viperion uses the Snake Miraculous with the power of Second Chance, allowing him to reset time to a specific marked out point. This ability essentially allows him to see into the future, correcting his mistakes and predicting enemies' attacks. This makes him very valuable in a team situation. His calm demeanor and musical intuition help him to remember complex sequence of events across multiple timelines. He has received combat training from the Celestial Guardian, Sohan, so he can hold his own in a fight. His weapon, the Lyre, can be used to deflect some basic attacks, but it's not really the best for offense. The only reason he's not higher is he does not have any direct combat abilities like others on this list.
Rooster Bolt!
The wielder of the Rooster Miraculous can grant themselves any power they can think of with the ability Sublimation. As long as it's not given by a Kwami, it does not interfere with another Kwami's magic, and it does not come in form of a wish. So basically, no power of creation, no power to see through miraculous disguises, no I wish to bring someone back to life. Though we have not seen Mark use his power a lot, but for the virtue of the Rooster Miraculous being as powerful as it is, he automatically has to be this high. And we know he's somewhat athletic because he plays football and he seems to be good at it. Yeah, this Miraculous has a good amount of limitations, but Through the show, we have seen that with a little creative thinking, you can combat some of the rules of the Rooster Miraculous. Honestly, I wasn't one of the haters of this Miraculous when it first came out, or the Miraculous power when it first came out, because I feel the power of sublimation fits so well with pretension, pretending to be what you're not. And honestly, I like Mark using this Miraculous. He reminds me of powerful magic users like Doctor Strange, Merlin, and even the latest Billy Maximoff from WandaVision. This incredible versatility makes Rooster Bold one of the most unpredictable fighters. The only limitation is he's one of the less experienced heroes. With more experience, he would definitely rank even higher.
Flag, claws out!
And now we come to Cat Noir. Struggle to place him was real. I really didn't know where to place him. I had to go back to old episodes, watch his fighting style. And I noticed the tendency of this show to constantly downplay him in favor of Ladybug. But, I've been a fan for years, so I guess I should have been used to this. Adrian as Cat Noir wields the power of destruction with Cataclysm. Experience, enhanced physical abilities, and combat training makes him one of the most formidable heroes. His intuitive fighting style and willingness to take risks often turn the tide in difficult battles. Aside from the sheer power of destruction, he has night vision and his latest Miraculous Cat Noir. Though they're not really useful in a battle, aside from if the hero or villain can make everywhere dark, then that would be a very useful power. And honestly, I initially wanted to put Cat Noir ahead of Ladybug, but after watching all the episodes, I just couldn't do that with good conscience. Even though looking back, he kind of looks pathetic in fights because in a good amount of fights, he sacrifices himself for Ladybug. Without her, everything can be fixed. That's why it's always needed for Cat Noir to sacrifice himself for her. And that's a bit understandable, because if the villain manages to get Ladybug first, then there's no way to repair all the damage. So I kind of get why he's sidelined a lot. That's exactly why there should have been equality in the Miraculouses. He has shown skillful use of his staff, using it for sword fights, deflecting attacks, and for transportation. And I have to say, his staff is actually the best weapon, because it is the most versatile, either his staff or Ladybug's yo-yo. And the power of destruction is just so broken. I thought it was going to be broken because it's literally destruction. The power of destruction is portrayed in such a menacing light in other forms of media like Dragon Ball and even My Hero Academia. But when it comes to Miraculous, it's often downplayed. His Cataclysm has shown to vary in scale, like when he destroyed the giant Gullet, or when he destroyed just a single piece of Miraculous. That's all I have to say for Cat Noir. On to our next entry.
Dusu, spread my feathers!
Natalie as Mayura uses the Peacock Miraculous to create powerful senti-monsters
through the process of amortization.
This ability to manifest emotions into physical beings with various powers makes her incredibly dangerous. The versatility of creating custom allies tailored to specific situations give her a significant advantage, though this is a very broken skill and by right should be at the top of this list. When Natalie used the Peacock Miraculous, it was damaged, hence came with severe drawbacks, making her weakened and eventually led to her death before she was revived. Marinette as Ladybug is the primary wielder of the Ladybug Miraculous, the leader of the Miraculous and one of the strongest superheroes in the show. Her lucky charm creates objects custom made to defeating a villain, and her Miraculous Ladybug, which allows her to repair any damage in course of fighting. Her exceptional creativity and strategic thinking allow her to see solutions where others can't. And she is by far the best holder of the Ladybug Miraculous shown on screen. In terms of combat, she has gone toe-to-toe with adult holders like Noir from the season 5 finale and had an upper hand. Yeah, I know.
He was weakened by the Cataclysm. He was already dying.
That's the only reason she could win. But to that I say,
are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
But nonetheless, I think she's one of the best combatants, constantly outclassing Noir when he's under the influence of a supervillain. She can also purify Akumas, but this isn't so useful in a fight. Then there's her yo-yo, which canonically has infinite length, wrapping around the Eiffel Tower several times, allowing her to swing around like Spider-Man, which she is ironically based off. Strong enough to stop trains and airplanes, and if spun fast enough, could be used as a shield. But Ladybug's plans always come to fruition due to her team and circumstances surrounding her battle. So take away essential things she needs to win in a fight, and you basically beat her.
Fluff clockwise!
Alex as Bonix wields the Rabbit Miraculous with the power of Burrow, allowing her to create portals through time using the Rabbit Burrow, a pocket dimension outside time and space. This ability to literally change the course of history makes her one of the most powerful Miraculous holders. The adult version of Bonix demonstrates mastery over her powers, monitoring the timeline and intervening only when absolutely necessary to prevent catastrophe. Also, in a fighting scenario, Bonix has canonically received training from the Three Musketeers. Honestly, the Rabbit Miraculous speaks for itself in how overpowered it is. Just think of any time traveler in mainstream media. They usually only appear when it's important or use their power when absolutely necessary. The reason she isn't number one is because people before her could potentially use her power.
Nuru, Dark Wings, rise!
Gabriel Agrest as Hawkmoth uses the Butterfly Miraculous to create supervillains through acclimatization. His ability to grant others powers makes him incredibly dangerous, and the fact that he's not limited to the miraculous powers make him better than Rooster Miraculous. And in this video, I have to assume he has a victim to manipulate, because what is a puppeteer without his puppets? His strategic mind,
Stop the cap!
or lack thereof, combined with his knowledge gained from the Grimoire, allows him to consistently challenge even the most powerful heroes. In all truth, I feel the fan base in general has forgotten how strong Hawkmoth is, and just see him as a joke cause he keeps on losing. Yeah, I know people bring up the Noir versus Monarch fight, but let's not forget he was weakened in that fight by the effect of Cataclysm and had almost reached his expiration date. He has shown some skill in sword fighting, taking care of robustest weapons, and he held his own against both Ladybug and Noir back in Season 2. When it comes to the topic of self-acclimatization, frankly, Gabe's collector transformation was kind of weak, cause he could literally just seal people away in books. I'll certainly put him below someone who so far has used the Butterfly Miraculous in a better way, like our next entry.
Hello. Forgive my intrusion, but I sense a great deal of guilt preventing you from making friends.
Chrysalis. It was really tough determining whether she should go above Hawkmoth or not, but I did a little research and I realized the amount of things she achieved in such a small amount of time. She managed to hack into the Agrest mansion with hacking skills I guess she always had.
She acquired the Butterfly Miraculous God knows how.
Self-acclimatized into a decent villain, stole the Miraculous and made a wish in just a day. Meanwhile, it took several attempts from Gabriel, an adult user, with arguably more assistance to even come close, and at the end he had to take a cheap shot just to win. Though much can't be said about her fighting capabilities, that is why she isn't number one, but based on her sheer intellect, I reckon she can defeat anyone lower than her on the list. And on top of all that, she has shown to upgrade the Butterfly Miraculous, releasing Ultra Kumas and Anti-Kumas from her victims, capable of neutralizing other people's powers. The only reason she isn't number one, the number one spot has all of this with great combat abilities.
Jusu, spread my feathers!
And finally, I'm sure by elimination you could tell who it is. Before anyone comes for me with the
"Oh, Argos has barely even used his Miraculous.
He's still inexperienced. He has the power of plotting inside,"
I would say yes, that you are completely right. Felix on his own is a very cunning and strategic player, capable of foiling people's plans without much difficulty. Let's consider how long it took him to figure out Hawkmoth's identity. When it comes to his battle experience, he was able to solo 3 acclimatized villains with no superpowers. He easily dodged and outmaneuvered all of Ladybug's attacks during emotion and eventually won the fight, And let's not forget what he did with the Red Moon Sentimonster, snapping everyone out of existence. And that's just the surface when it comes to the Peacock Miraculous. Can literally create an ally with any power, and unlike the Rooster Miraculous, you can duplicate the power of other Kwamis, and doesn't need a victim like the Butterfly Miraculous. He just needs to place the Amok in a safe place and he's good to go. The only real limitation with Argos is his reluctance to create Sentimonsters. If he was as cold-blooded as Mayura, he would be more or less unstoppable. So that's my ranking of the Miraculous holders from weakest to strongest. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but please keep it respectful. Also, let me know what ranking you'd like me to do next. Unifications, acclimatized villains, and since this is my first video, I'd love to hear your feedback.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.